So good morning and welcome to today's tutorial. Maybe you wonder why I'm wearing my headset first of all, because I don't need it. I was just listening to some music. Uh, and secondly, maybe you wonder why I'm on the top right today. That's because we're gonna need that part down here today. So I had to push my little window to the top right. So as always, I've got a little structure on what is going to happen, and I think this tutorial is going to be very quick. We've already had the introduction to the mechatronic system, and I'm using the program that we've programmed together so far in the tutorials that have been there so far. So, this is lesson 5, and actually now we would basically test our program. We would download it to the machine and see what happens. There are always some troubles, and you need to troubleshoot your program. You need to find those errors, you need to find the sources of it, and you need to track it down and change it and repair it. This usually takes a long time. And is pretty harsh and upsetting, and no one likes to do that, but you are very happy if everything works out in the end, and your customer is also going to be very happy, and you get money, and that's how business is done. I'm not a business person, as you maybe realize right now. So, first thing, going online. So to go online, at first you would plug in. Now you have a network cable or a Profinet cable or whatever. I have a simulation started. So I've got this simulated PLC here. Just to show to you, I'm not connected to anything with the cable. I am just connected with this with the PLC sim tool. So bottom left, I want to go to the portal view. I just first want to see if I'm actually connected. So you would plug in a wire or Wi-Fi or whatever, and I just have this simulation running. There's in online and diagnostics accessible devices. So everything that I can see somehow connected through everything that I just mentioned. Type of PG PC interface. How am I connected to my simulation? I set it in my simulation that I'm connected with Profinet. PNIE, Profinet Industrial Ethernet, and my interface is actually my simulation. You would select your networks card probably, and I found something. So the name of the device, the type of the device is unspecified because that's what's set in the software, the connection type, the address and the MAC address. So the IP address and the MAC address of the device I connected to. I could now click on show, and the portal view is going to open, and on the left here it automatically scrolled down to online access. Online access means I could look in each adapter that I have on my PC. You can see my PC actually has quite some. And I'm connected here with PLC Sim, and there's my main PLC. And I could actually look on the program logs. This is the program right now inside the PLC. I could double click and it would open. The problem with this, with the S7300 series, is that if you download your program to a PLC, all the comments, all the names, everything is lost except for the program logics. That's why we can close this, and I will close this as well. I just wanted to show you, this is how you can test if you have access to any PLC available in your network. So, but I downloaded my program, so I did that in before. I downloaded, and now I want to actually go inside and have a look at it. So for example, let's take a random step. This one, close clamp. I want to see if this step is being executed in my machine. Here on the top, I can go online. Orange means going online. So I click this, and whatever turns orange. So for example, this top left here in the project tree, now it's going orange, going orange. And the bottom right here, that's why I'm in the top right now, bottom right, online. And if this little thing moves, like the Knight Rider kit, I hope you're young enough to know that, moves from left to right here, we're online. Whatever is orange means it's online. So, actually, I could now quickly take my face, put it down here, take this list, put it here. So, bop. Now, this is what we know, right? This is what we know. And there we are. So next thing, after going online, I can monitor. Monitoring means I'm going to monitor what's going on in this function here. Step execution, that's where I'm in right now. In this function, I can monitor on and off. You can see this whole window here turns, yeah, it takes some time, turns orange. Orange means I am now online. Whatever is green here, green means a logic 1, blue dashed means a logic 0. If it is gray, means it's not being executed. So right now the step execution is not gray because I called it in the main there. I called it, if I would not have called it here in the main, it would be gray. But I called it, that's why it's not gray. So that's for monitoring part so far. Modifying. Modifying would be the next. I see I want to test this data here, right? The close clamp. And I would now want to test if this actually does to the machine what I want. I could right click and I could modify. Modify to logic 0, modify to logic 1. Let's have a look. It's now blue. And if I right click, modify to 1. Oh, it's 1. So now it's a 1. A logic 1. I did that. The program didn't do that. I did that. So I want to go back to a 0. There we are again. With the current step here, for example, this is in step 0, and but I want to test as if it would be in step 2. Modify operand. I can say int to step 2. You see, this turned green, is true now. Automatic mode. Modify to 1. Modify to 1. That doesn't work. Right? You see that? Modify to 1. Doesn't work. It worked for the rest. Why doesn't this work? This does not work because here in my operating modes, I go online in my operating modes, the automatic mode here, it is turned off immediately after I turn it on. So I'm not overwriting this permanently. I'm only overwriting this once at the place I am. You cannot see that because it's only once. Is very fast, like 10 milliseconds-ish. So this is a problem. Now I want to test that. I do not have the machine. I need to test this. What I could do now is I could create a watch and force table. So modification done, going on and done, perfect. I could create a watch table here on the left in my PLC, watch and force tables. I could add a new watch table. And this table, you can see, is just an empty table right now because I have not put any data in there. Whoops. How do I make that small? Just the rest is not pushed there in front. I feel more comfortable like this. We actually do not need this. So in this watch table, I make it hover now. So this watch table, I wanted to override the automatic mode here, right? I wanted to override the automatic mode, so I can actually, can I copy this? I do not know. Perfect. So automatic mode. The address right here is inside the data block. You do not need to know what the address means. Actually, it means it's in data block 1, and it is data block X means data block bit 0.3. So it is the third bit, the bit number 3 of the 0 byte in my data block 1. There we go. I could also add inputs and outputs. I could, for example, Q4.1 was something, I think. No, Q5.1. No. I could, no, I'm selecting just everything. I could override an input. I could override an output, for example. So I could just override those also in the table here. So, or everything else. Really, this is a force table. This can do everything. A watch table. And maybe I also want to take my current step. Steps, current step. There we go. I can also take decimal values here, not just bool. So what I want to do, this automatic mode, I want to modify to a 1, right? To a 1. I do not want to override those two, and the current step, I don't care because I already did that. So now that I did this, I need to go monitor all, right? Now I'm monitoring. Right now, Automatic mode is false, 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 and 2. Good. If I click here on modify all selected values once and now, you can see it does that. It overrides just once again. Once is a problem right here, right? Once is a problem. If I do this, 4, I'm not overwriting this at other places right now. That's why the 4 is going in there. Okay, the input for step 5 was activated, so step 5 was immediately activated. Let's have a look. 3 and 3 stays. So for step 4, actually something works. That's good. So if I want to permanently override this, I want to permanently override the automatic mode here. Permanently, I need to turn on here the advanced settings. And I can modify something here with a trigger. With a trigger, here you can see, I want to do this permanently. Permanently is good. I could do it permanently, which is then everywhere, like forcing it forever. I could do it once of the scan in the beginning of the scan cycle. I could do it at the end of the scan cycle, or at the transition to stop. We do not go to stop right now. That's why we do not care about this. We are not. I can explain those two. For the start, meaning we have the PLC cycle. Meaning the first thing it always does is reading the inputs. So the physical input is the button pressed. If yes, put this in a table. This table is written at the start of a scan cycle, so we would also have to override this at the start. Then our program is executed, program, and at the end of the cycle, there's a process image output table. This output table is, we wrote that in the program, and at the end of the scan cycle, the PLC just throws whatever in this output tab, process image output table, onto the physical outputs. So at the end, it turns on LEDs and so on. So outputs we would have to do at the end of the cycle. We can do it permanently or at the end. For outputs, let's have a look. Once only at the start, for example, I want to do this, and permanently at the end of the scan cycle for this output. Good. Let's have a look. The trigger for our automatic mode here is permanent. I could do it once again. This is once, doesn't make much sense. Or with the trigger. Modify with the trigger. Are you sure you want, with the modify with trigger function, you intervene in the process permanently? Do you want to continue with modify the trigger? Actually, it's just asking me, are you sure you want to do that? Yes, I know that. So as you can see, now this is true. I actually override my program right now. I'm forcing this true value into my mode's automatic mode. Let's have a look how that looks. Program. The operating modes, automatic mode. Here. Funny thing is, you can see this. So here they are all not true. The output of this network is also not true, right? This is 0. But you can see this is the same bit. You can see here it is written as 0, it is assigned as 0, but it's still a 1, right? We are overwriting this for testing. We are really forcing it into it. So setting, modify the trigger, watch tables, perfect. So if I want to undo this, I have to click on this one again, and you can see now it's fine again. So watch tables, there we go. One last thing that's also very good for troubleshooting a program. You can find down here in the info panel something called general. Here you have your compilation and everything. Everything in my program is fine, so perfect. If it wouldn't be fine, that would be red, and I could double click and then see the exact error. So output assignment was fine, operating modes was fine, so I go back to my operating modes. Cross references. If you activate cross references and then just select one single bit somewhere, or a byte, or any data, you can see where this data is being used. So I selected here my modes automatic mode. You can see this is used quite a lot. In total, I have no idea. I don't want to count. 12 times, I guess. Yes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So those are all read-only. Read-only means it's only read. That was easy. Nothing happens with it. It's just asked for what the current status of this is. If automatic mode, then do something. Here it is written once. If I click on this right, you can see this one here is selected, meaning, here this mode is actually written. So I know, this is the place where this changes. If I click on this, here, it's only asked for. So only asked for is read only, then here is written, and there is also read-write access, where both happens kind of at the same time, like in a set reset statement, for example. And whenever you click on this, it's going to bring you exactly where it is. And the good thing is, if you have a good program architecture and a good programming style, you will see, or definitely you will see where this use is. So here in network 1, it's used in step 1. It's used in step 7. It's used in automatic mode. If you do not have a good programming style, this just says it's in step execution network 1, which doesn't tell you much. Or networks 257 doesn't tell you shit or anything. I don't know. Am I allowed to say shit on YouTube? If not, then I'm sorry, Mr. YouTube, and sorry to you that you listened to this, and that's why I am not going to continue talking. And you can see the list on the bottom right is actually over. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, if you have any feedback, if you want to see something more specific on those topics, if you want to whatsoever, just leave me a comment, write a mail. I would prefer a comment, and yeah, I will answer. So right now it's 1:30. I still have stuff to do. I have to be at work at 8 in the morning and lecture some of my students, right? Exactly with the stuff. And that's why I wish you a good night. Maybe I'm gonna play this for some hours because it came out 2 hours ago. I need to play it. At least half an hour, maybe. Good. Have a good night, and yeah, hope to hear from you. Bye.